Imo people and the teeming membership of PDP in Imo State should know that the fabric of the party is still intact. The structure of the party is in perfect tact. The party is organized in layers. The decampment we have experienced since yesterday just happened in the state level. The other organs of the party are intact and functioning, so there is no cause for alarm. So once more, I welcome you people. As you are aware, yesterday, 7 members of the State Working Committee took their overdue exit from the party. The officers that left the party by way of resignation are the deputy chairman, the secretary, the vice chairman or Luzon, the treasurer, the woman leader, the publicity secretary, and the youth leader. Ordinarily, their exit is not a cause for concern for the party. Most of you in the state who are keen followers of the affairs of the party will recall that sometime in 2019, 7 ESCO members led by Barrister Ezekwem also left the party. That didn't stop the party from winning election. So this is not the first time it's happening in the party. And it is actually the legitimate right of every member of the party when you feel that you have fulfilled your mission, you take your exit. But then what has prompted this particular press conference is the manner it has happened and the moves behind the scene. So as a party, we are not bothered that officers of the party left. It is not the first time. And in fact, before them, one of our publicity secretary, Ogubundu Wadike, had also left, and he was replaced by Collins Oprozo, who incidentally was among those that left yesterday. So the option open to the party at this particular time is also to find a way of replacing those that have left the party with other capable hands in the party and for the party to move on. But like I said, what is our concern is the undercurrents behind this particular exit. First of all, let me inform you that it has been the prayer of the party that these officers left before they did. This followed critical analysis of the reason behind the abysmal failure of the party in the last general election by a review committee set up by the party, which is due to submit its report in the coming days. Let me, however, inform you that in the course of the work of this committee, it emerged that most of the ad hoc staff recruited by the party to work for the party in the last general election were members of the opposition parties. It also emerged that most INEC result forms submitted at the party secretariat to help the party and their candidates get ready for the election petitions were missing and could not be accounted for. Worse still, confidential information about our party candidates and the activities leading to the election were leaked to the opposition in a manner that suggested that an insider was doing a bad deal. And the party was bent on unraveling those behind these particular activities. But then, you realize that some of those that left, including the deputy chairman, Mr. Martin Sejogu, and the state secretary, Nzerea Manga, were neck deep in election management for the party in the last election, particularly with regard to recruitment of ad hoc staff and submission of their names to INEC. So it appears to the party that in anticipation of what the report we are waiting may say some people may be out to avoid the long hand of the law, but we want to assure our party members and the Imolites that as soon as the party committee submits their report, that it will be critically appraised and nobody can run away from its bad deed. Gentlemen of the press, it may interest you to know that on August 3, 2023, this State Working Committee will clock 3 years in office. Within this period, issue of accountability has been at the front burner. However, because some of the officers to whom accusing fingers we are pointing at are principal officers of the party, this issue has been swept under the carpet. And when I mean principal officers involved in this case, I'm talking about the deputy chairman, I'm talking about the state secretary, I'm talking about the state treasurer. You may recall, for those of you who are in Imo State, that sometime last year, the youth leaders of the party in Imo State wrote a petition against this State Working Committee to the National Working Committee. Apart from that, the local government chairman of the party also wrote a separate petition against this State Working Committee on issues relating to embezzlement of funds. The National Working Committee advised then that investigation should be suspended pending conclusion of the party primaries and the general election, because it wouldn't want the party in Imo State to go into election with a divided house. But now the general election has come and gone. It is time for the National Working Committee to revisit that issue. And it is suspected that those that have left the party have left because of fear of indictment following these petitions. But then, we assure you people, the PDP members in Imo State and the Imolites, that after this press conference and due consultations with the National Working Committee, those petitions will be revisited and appropriate punishment will be meted to anybody indicted. Beyond these petitions I've mentioned, in Imo State here, I was the Deputy Director of Finance in the presidential campaign of His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Over 1.4 billion naira sent to Imo for the management of that election till date remains unaccounted for. And these are the issues the party was gearing up to investigate. Unfortunately, today, those who played major role in the management or mismanagement of these funds have left the party. But they cannot run. They cannot run. We assure you of that. Within these 3 years of the life of this administration, in the management of the party in Imo State, we could not ascertain the staff strength of our party, and the fluctuation of our wage bill remained a mystery. As the financial secretary, my first request for a conduct of staff audit earned me more than 6 months suspension. Till date, as the financial secretary, my office did not receive 10 kobo on behalf of the party within these 3 years. My office does not know about any expenses of the party within this period. Some people usurped the office of the financial secretary, have been managing our finances anyhow. There is a committee we set up which they called PDP Finance Committee, that was granted undue independence contrary to the provisions of the constitution of the party. As a state financial secretary, I was supposed to be a secretary of that committee. But as I speak to you, the account of that party, I don't know anything about it. I don't even have the account number. So the major problem the party has faced, which I tell you led to this exodus, is an attempt to call its officers to account, nothing more. Gentlemen of the press, referring to the resignation letter by the former State Working Committee officers, one of the issues they raised is the alleged attack on the party secretariat, which they attributed to the national secretary of the party, who is currently the leader of the party and the governorship candidate of the party. In raising this issue, it was alleged that distinguished Senator Samuel Anyanwu, the leader of the party in Imo State, stopped police from investigating the party. For your information, the State Working Committee met last Monday on an emergency meeting to discuss the alleged attack. Preliminary reports suggest that the boys that attacked the party secretariat were members of a youth alliance group operating under the office of the youth leader of the party. This youth alliance group was not invited to the event organized by the national secretary of the party within the party secretariat on that day. And these people arrived only when the national secretary has left and his event ended. The coming of the members of this youth alliance into the party secretariat coincided with the arrival of the youth leader of the party, who ordinarily had no role to play in the event. And incidentally, he was the first to raise alarm over this attack. Unfortunately and curiously, at the emergency meeting, the youth leader's absence could not be excused or explained. However, the chairman was directed to discuss the development with the national secretary and get back to the State Working Committee. As I speak to you, the chairman has not reconvened the State Working Committee meeting nor briefed the State Working Committee via any recognized medium on the outcome of his discussion with the National Secretary. We now wonder how this group that have exited made up the news that the National Secretary could stop an investigation that has not received the approval of the State Working Committee. The summary of all I am saying is that the State Working Committee at no time approved the report of the incident that happened, the so-called attack. The State Working Committee never approved reporting that issue to the police. What the State Working Committee approved was for the chairman to engage the National Secretary in discussion, because by his emergence as the governorship candidate of the party in the state, he became the leader of the party. And before we take any decision or any step in party affairs, he will always be consulted. So without reference to the State Working Committee about his discussion or the outcome of his discussion with the National Working Committee, there is no approval for police to come in, and the National Secretary couldn't have stopped an investigation that has not been authorized by the State Working Committee. Still on the resignation, the principal officers of the party that resigned stated in their resignation letter that they cannot explain to their children how the national secretary of the party can be the governorship candidate of the party at the same time, as though the constitution of the party does not allow that, or it has not happened before in the party. I encourage you people to conduct your investigation properly. Today, Kefas Abu, who was the PDP governorship candidate in the last election in Taraba State, was the state chairman of PDP in Taraba State at the same time he was running for election. Abdullahi Ibrahim, the current Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the party, was the Deputy Governorship candidate of PDP in Kebbi State while he was still in office. Daud Lawal, the current governor of Zamfara State, was the state chairman of the party when he ran for the office of the governor. So the point I am making here is that it is not as if what happened in Imo State or what is happening in Imo State with regard to the national secretary being the governorship candidate of the party at the same time is unusual.
It's constitutional.
It is constitutional. And for reference purposes, let me read out the provision of the PDP constitution that relates to what we are talking about. That's section 48, subsection 1 of the PDP constitution. It provides, subject to the provisions of this constitution, any member holding any office in the party at any level shall be deemed to have resigned that office if he or she assumes any of the following offices. The word you underline there is if he or she assumes. If he or she assumes. So until he assumes, he cannot be deemed to have resigned. One of the offices mentioned in subsection I of subsection 1 is governor or deputy governor of a state. Distinguished Senator Samuel Nnameka Anyanwu is yet to assume the office. He is still running for that office. Until he assumes, he cannot be deemed to have resigned. So I want you people to take this information to the Imo public so that we can manage the level of misinformation being peddled by these officers that have left office. Now, let me address one critical point that underlined this exit. Recently, the National Working Committee remitted to the state party about 33,975,000 naira, being what is due to the state party from the sale of forms leading to the last primary election conducted by the party. Members of the State Working Committee are agitating and demanding account of how this money has been expended. As I talk to you, when you came into this secretariat, you cannot see most of the properties of the party in the hands of these officers that have left the party. We have cars in the hands of these officers. When you move into the offices, most of the offices have been looted. Now I ask you to also investigate. I know you people are on social media. If you check today, these officers are being received or have been received by the state governor of Imo State at the government house. These are officers that just resigned yesterday morning. Today, reception has been organized for them, obviously into APC party. What we as a party are against is somebody who has made up his mind to move away from the party, to seek to destroy the party, when we know that what they are playing is what is called mercantile politics, cash and carry. If you have received your what, if you have been settled, why not leave and leave the party in peace? For your information, the party is determined to move on. The party is not lacking hands. If you look around here, from the chairman to the youth leaders, there are capable hands. Imo PDP does not lack capable hands to continue to pilot the affairs of the party. We want to assure our teaming members in the wards and in the various local governments that what has happened today is not its first time. Let them remain silent while the party finds a way around it. Already, consultations are ongoing with a view to replacing them. Thank you, and God bless you.